By Houchins.
These are members of the Rochester Sewing Circle. The sewing group was organized in 1972 and since then has been selling homemade crafts to raise money for local community services. Group member Margaret Harlow says the group has helped in saving the town.
I wasn't in it when it first began. I was working, and they didn't have anything to do, and the town was going down, and they met to see what they could do to help do for others and to do for the town.
Right after its organization, the group raised money to renovate the community center and to help buy the town's first fire truck.
Well, it was before my time when the fire department began, and as far as I've been told, they helped to start it and buy our first truck, the older one sitting on there. And after that, they've helped us have fundraisers for anything we need, any equipment, supplies, anything. Our second truck, the newest one, it was purchased through funds raised by them and through the county and different agencies.
Today, the Sewing Circle members continue to meet every week at the community center, where they volunteer to combine their talents.
We make a lot of crafts and things which they sell, and it's put on, really goes back into the building or helps, the town and other things. The fire department, and helped that quite a bit.
Well, we don't gossip too much.
Don't gossip too much.
No, we just enjoy each other's fellowship, mostly. And I love to quilt. Well, we all do.
Not only does the Rochester Sewing Circle help out the local community center and fire department, but it also helps out other worthy causes. Whether it's buying the first fire truck or clothing and feeding the needy, these members will continue to help others through their talents.
All charity is love. And if you don't love your fellow man, you can't get by in this world. You just got to love people.
In Butler County, I'm Pete Grigsby for Kentucky Neighbors.
This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
Welcome to Walker Junction, a new community being developed right here in Bowling Green. Owner and founder Dave Walker has been into trains since the age of 9 and is currently building this town in his own garage.
Taking it away from, the working world, the tenseness. I can come out here, I can be in my own world. Maybe, maybe everybody's got to still have a little bit of kid in them.
This model train collector says there's more to this than just laying down the tracks and starting the engines.
I get more enjoyment out of building structures and weathering the boxcars than I do running a train. I like to watch it go around, but it'll be going around while I'm doing work on something else.
Like Walker, there are other model train hobbyists who like to take what we see every day and apply them to their own home railroads.
Mother Nature is not very kind to the real railroad, so I weather them. Every one of my cars, anytime I get a car, I do weather it.
Although the town looks finished, this architect says it will always be under construction.
You'll never see it finished. Mine will probably be finished in year 2050. I'll be 97. I predict that 2050.
Okay.
No, there's no way. They'll always be working on this. It's fun. It's a release.
With Kentucky Neighbors, I'm Pete Grigsby.
If you know of a good Kentucky neighbor, write to us at Kentucky Neighbors, in care of WBKO 13, P.O. Box 13,000, Bowling Green 42102. This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
Meet Don and Elisa Maynard. Their love for china, glassware, and other antiques has not only created a local successful business, but has also given them worldwide recognition. Elisa says that much of the out-of-state recognition is due to some of their own creations and designs.
Birdhouses have been on the market for quite some time now, but we never really had one in particular that we thought just suited the glass place. So we decided to make one, and we did. And evidently they're going very, very well. We sell them daily on a on a big basis, and then we wholesale them as well. We ship them all over the country.
Don started the business over 15 years ago, and he gives much credit for his success to hard work and the principles he learned from his Kentucky upbringing.
I just like the old way of doing things. I don't want to change. You will never come to the glass place and see a computer. Cash registers only went in the glass place within the last 7, 8 years. We used to use a cigar box, and it was better.
The glass place started out in a converted horse barn, then eventually grew to the point where some of its own creations, such as Sam here, can now be found in stores worldwide. Other designs and ideas are applied to such things as rugs, baskets, and even Indian corn. And of course, there are specific things for the different times of year. Both members of this husband and wife team say they couldn't be this creative and successful without being together.
I have a lot of respect for her abilities. She's great for decorating, good idea person.
It works out fine. It evidently always has, and we're the best of friends. That's exactly how it started. And we just keep an open mind, and we're both very opinionated, and somehow among all of that, we make it work. I'm not real sure how, but it works. Trust me, it works.
Yeah. And together, they share a little bit of Kentucky with the rest of the world. With Kentucky Neighbors, I'm Pete Grigsby.
If you know of a good Kentucky neighbor, write to us at Kentucky Neighbors, in care of WBKO 13, P.O. Box 13,000, Bowling Green 42102. This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
Every Halloween, the Glasgow Jaycees contribute to local charity by putting on their annual haunted house. Materials needed to build the spook house are furnished by local merchants. Then the proceeds are used for needy kids and needy families at Thanksgiving and Christmas times.
As far as the money that we do make, it all goes right back into the community to help those people within our area that need our help.
One local radio station also helps out each year by giving the Jaycees Haunted House free promotions.
It's all a big happy family. The Jaycees probably do more to help this community than any other group anywhere. And
at least for the size and number.
Exactly. And I mean, you couldn't ask for a nicer bunch of guys to work with, and as far as helpful and genuinely interested in what goes on, and they do an excellent job.
The Glasgow Jaycees for the past 10 years have put on this haunted house, and so far this year this is the best one they've had in attendance, which means more money for local charity. This House of Terror runs for only 5 nights, and this year alone, it's on its way to a possible record high of $6,000.
It was great! Hey!
How many times have you been through this?
Twice!
Right.
Yeah, it's good. No, I went Saturday night, too. I wouldn't go through there for all the money in the world. My friends are going through there now. They got me up there right at the gate, and I said, no. No way I'm going through there.
And with the increasing popularity, it will probably get even bigger and better by next year. And one sound, what was this haunted house like? In Barron County, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
If you know of a good Kentucky neighbor, write to us at Kentucky Neighbors, in care of WBKO 13, P.O. Box 13,000, Bowling Green 42102. This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
Y'all didn't go nowhere, did you?
This is John Baldwin. He's a member of the Logan Memorial Hospital Auxiliary. Like John, there are over 60 other active members who volunteer their time at the hospital. This nonprofit organization was set up over 25 years ago, and since then has been helping not only the hospital, but also the community.
People who do this have a sincere interest in the people, and I think they also feel like they're serving their community. And I think it gives a deep gratitude to themselves in knowing that they are helping someone.
information desk.
Whether it's the information desk, x-ray, medical records, or even the gift shop, these volunteers are seen throughout the hospital.
The hospital would not be a full service in a full community hospital if it was not for auxiliaries, I firmly believe. The auxiliaries may not always realize it, but they're a true backbone into the support and the continuing programs that we try and provide for the community. They're always there in the background helping.
This hospital auxiliary is also responsible for a junior volunteer program for every summer, which includes high school students from all around the area.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The group helped Logan County get the 911 emergency system and is currently endorsing Med Command emergency alert systems.
When I applied for this job those many years ago, the administrator asked me one question. He says, "Do you love people?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You have the job." So that's my motivation. I like to work with people.
So many of them are sweet little ladies that are out here. It's a real pleasure to take flowers to them.
In Logan County, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
If you know of a good Kentucky neighbor, write to us at... This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
Every time this year, Frank Owen Brockman is busy carving Christmas for charity. Since 1982, Frank has been building cradle rockers and giving them to churches and other organizations in order to help out needy children at Christmas.
These are my little labors of love, and I get very frustrated with them. And I say sometimes I'll never build them again, but I always do, because I always feel that there's going to be some child that I'm going to be able to help, and maybe I'll make their Christmas for them. If I do, I've made my Christmas for me.
It all started one Christmas when he built 5 models for friends. Frank got the design from this original model his mother made back in 1939.
I wanted something unique, and I believe in giving toys that are safe and will develop motor skills. Well, these will develop motor skills, and they're relatively safe.
Since 1982, Frank Owen has created over 100 of these cradle rockers, and this is his most productive year ever. And this year alone, over 20 of these rockers will leave his home and make their way to several underprivileged kids across the nation.
This is a time of year when we're supposed to think of others, and this gives me this makes Christmas for me.
In Simpson County, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
There's usually 3, but today we have Shelby Eatonton.
These are volunteer actors rehearsing a play organized by the Edmonson County Arts Council. The council began back in 1985 and since then has been given its proceeds to the community and local schools.
They still volunteered their time because they wanted to give something back to the county, and I think that's great that you have that many people working together. You don't see that everywhere.
This year's proceeds will send local students to see a Shakespeare play in Horse Cave.
We can get children involved as well as adults, and it seems like it just really brings the community together when we can do that.
Cup of sugar, cup of fruit cocktail with juice.
The productions are made up of local people who audition for parts. Then they spend 2 nights a week rehearsing.
It gives people something to do. There's nothing to do around here, and just gives people something to do, and it's good, clean fun, and I think it helps the kids around here that get involved into this acting stuff, and they've got drama classes and stuff at school.
It's a lot of fun. We talk a lot, joke, kid, and sometimes we get serious. It's a lot of fun.
Because of the popularity growth of the Arts Council and its productions, a new amphitheater is currently being built. This will not only benefit the community, but also bring more tourists into Edmonson County. So with the new 200-plus seat amphitheater, this nonprofit organization will continue to boost the economy and support the local schools, all because of a group of volunteers sharing some extra talent. In Edmonson County, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
If you know of a good kid... This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
Be a leader, be a friend, be of service. That's the motto of Alpha Phi Omega, and these members are living up to their own words. This group of Western students is in its second year in helping the Elderly's Assistance Program, organized by the Community Education Board.
It's just helping others, maybe some of them that can't help themselves, like some of these senior adults can't get out and rake the leaves or clean their windows, so these groups go out and do it for them. It's just basically giving a service.
This week's target, the Johnson home in Bowling Green, where leaves are raked and gutters are cleaned.
I think it's just wonderful. I think they're a wonderful group of young people, and I appreciate it so much. I really do. They are lovely young people.
This is the 11th project this fall the group has done for the youth services, and plans are already being made for the upcoming spring Elderly Assistance Program. Other groups such as Alpha Gamma Rho are also involved in the program for the same reason, service to the community.
There's a lot of people in the community that don't have anybody to help them out, and I see our group as filling a gap. We're all able-bodied, and we can come out and rake lawns of people who just can't physically do it.
You have to believe in service to yourself to be a member of this organization, to be honest with you, and all these people here do, and they have a great time doing this for other people, I think.
In Bowling Green, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
If you know of a good Kentucky neighbor, this segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
For over 40 years, Richard and Geneva Cassidy have been giving the community a special Christmas gift that shines, and this year's gift is no exception. It contains over 10,000 lights and some of our favorite Christmas personalities. A new attraction is added each and every year, making it bigger and better. In fact, so far, 15 electric circuits have been added to accommodate this Christmas tradition. So after 4 weeks of preparation, let the show begin. From Santa to baby Jesus, and from the house to a nearby pond, the holiday spirit is truly felt.
I love it. I love Christmas. I love people. And, of course, Christmas has been my holiday or my time of the year all of my life.
We don't buy each other presents. We get more enjoyment out of doing this and maybe giving pleasure to other people, and particularly children.
But today, it's not just kids, it's people of all ages coming many miles to partake of this gift.
If every day was Christmas, why, I'd get rid of my pain. Because I see so many people that appreciates what I do. And that's the reason that I do it.
Merry Christmas from your Kentucky neighbors, the Cassidys. I'm Pete Grigsby.
If you know of a good Kentucky... This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
The Lighthouse Mission Store is not your ordinary local grocery store. It's divided into sections ranging from a general retail area, which is for all customers, to an area with inexpensive goods for only low-income families. Most people call the president of the store Brother John, and it was 10 years ago when he helped start this nonprofit organization for the needy.
We've got a lot of people out there that are trying to help themselves. They're on low income and needy, but there's no place to help them. They fall through the cracks. There's things to help people that don't work or do anything, but not for the people that's trying to help themselves. So we decided to do something that would help the general public.
Money made from the retail section funds the purchase of goods for over 1,000 low-income and needy families.
Oh, I come here and shop. I like it. It's pretty reasonable. Stuff knows cheap, and I like shopping here.
When the Lighthouse Mission Store began over 10 years ago, it was based out of Brother John's own house. But because of the growth of the past few years, it's now located in a much larger facility. 4 full-time volunteers help with the store, and Brother John says they work for the same reason, a Christmas gift that's given year-round.
Have you ever seen a person that's hungry to get food and see that look in a child's eye or an adult's eye that they know they can sit down and eat that night and have food there on the table? That look and that in their eye and on their face is worth more than $1 million.
And you get that quite often?
Daily.
In Bowling Green, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
If you know... This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
'Twas the night before Christmas. We were looking at the lights, and toward the end of Small House, we came upon an unusual sight. It's a nativity scene, but with live characters, including angels, wise men, shepherds, and of course their sheep. For the past 8 years, members of the Trinity Free Will Baptist Church have been celebrating Christmas by giving the public this unique gift.
Well, we're portraying to the community what the true meaning of Christmas is all about the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
To fight the cold weather, every 30 minutes an entire new manger group takes over. Well, except for the animals.
I like to be one of the wise men because in the cold weather they have a nice cape, keeps you warmer.
Over 50 church members have volunteered the time to make this thing possible, and each night it takes about 25 to 26 of them to bring this tradition alive.
It is really beautiful. It puts you in the true Christmas spirit, what Christmas is really all about.
We hear people come out and they begin to explain to their children what it's about. You know, it's the baby Jesus, and he came and was born in a manger. And over you hear people tell their children the story of the first Christmas and the birth of the Christ child. And that's the blessing to us.
In a way, this is a gift to the community, portraying the true meaning of Christmas.
With photographer Lynn Wright, I'm Pete Grigsby with Kentucky Neighbors.
If you know of a good Kentucky... This segment of Kentucky Neighbors is sponsored by Houchins.
We are sending small care packages, okay, 7 to 10 pound care packages to our guys and gals serving in the Gulf.
Meet Rick Faulkner, also known as Dr. Rick, at a Glasgow radio station. Since early September, Rick has been using his media influence to help the American soldiers in Saudi Arabia. Over the airwaves, Rick tells the listeners about Project Desert Shield, which is an outlet place organized for sending care packages and letters to the troops. With the backing of local businesses, churches, schools, and families, American soldiers are receiving things such as canned goods, books, and even music.
I got a package when I was in the military on Easter, and I was a long way from home, and it was Easter, and I was missing my family and this and that. And I opened this little box, and there was some little green grass and a chocolate bunny that my mom had sent. And I remember how it felt, just knowing. Not necessarily, the bunny was nice, don't get me wrong, the chocolate was nice, but it was the idea that somebody cared enough to take the time to do that for me.
He says the rewards from this charitable event are the daily thank you letters he receives from the soldiers.
Uncertainty is the worst part of this whole thing. They're uncertain about what's going to happen to them. They're uncertain when they're going to get home. They're uncertain whether they're going to be waiting or fighting with